I wanted to do a couple of things today. One of them was to kind of review the information that I've been giving you over the past few months, but also to go into a lot more of the detail and physical manifestations of the shift in the energies that we're experiencing. And every time information comes in from the higher realms, they're talking about how much more light and positive energy is being beamed onto the planet. We have dissipated and eliminated a lot of the negativity, and the grid that held like a net that held the energy so tight has been gradually loosening many few years. And so as a result, we're able to get more information through the light that's coming in, because the light is information, the light is love. And it's all coming to us now in a way we've never experienced it. And because of that, we are seeing it manifesting in so many different ways, and yet because our point of reference does not include this much light on the planet up to this point, we're not seeing a lot of what's happening. And what we are seeing, it's really possible that we're probably distorting and seeing through old filters. And some food for thought is that when energy is held for long periods of time in the body, and whether it's the body of Gaia or whether it's your own personal physical body, this still holds true. These pockets of energy, this can, if it's the negative energy, where, like for example on Gaia, where we've had all of the wars and the trauma and the violence all over the planet for centuries. And there are pockets on the earth where that violence has just been repetitive, like in the Middle East. And in order for this energy to be cleared and healed, it has to come to the surface. We have to become aware of it in a different way. And that's the same way in the micro aspect of that is in our bodies. We have to become aware of the energies that are held in the pockets in our body, whether we call it disease, illness, we label it, we have names for it. But regardless of what it's called, it is is energy held in the body over a long period of time. And a lot of times we don't even know that we've got that blockage or that mass of negative energy within us or even within the earth until something occurs that makes us aware, that starts vibrating and shifting things, kind of like using a sifter or a strainer, and you're shaking it and you're culling out all of the old and all of the things that are no longer functioning or working for us in different ways. So that's a lot of what's happening. I mean, the United States with the election and everything is right on the precipice. We are at a crossroads. And so much of the negativity and everything that has been experienced and expressed on both sides is a result of making us aware. The vibration is getting higher. We're not in Kansas anymore. Nothing of the old is working. The election is its own example. But all of the things that have been brought to the surface are shaking loose the angry, violent, negative energy that has been held in our country for various reasons since before its inception. We have a lot of violence in our own country that is having to be revealed to be cleared. And I think that in a lot of ways the election is triggering that. Again, on both sides. No one is good or bad or right or wrong, but we are definitely seeing what happens whenever the dust gets stirred up again. But the bottom line is that it has to come to our attention, it has to come to the surface before it can be changed, before it can be recognized, before there can be anything can be addressed. And just like within ourselves, we have to become aware of what we're thinking and feeling and believing before we can change it. especially when what we're thinking, feeling, and believing is causing us struggle, strife, conflict, resistance, and pain. We're seeing that on the micro and the macro level in our world, and it's all over the world. It's not just in the United States or just within you. This is a collective experience for all of humanity. And this is the time, more important than any other time, for us to be out of judgment, for us to stay in observation, to see what's going on and use our own intuition, our own knowing to go to ask the questions, to recognize it. Don't be sheep. Don't follow what's being told to you. Look within your own heart and see what's going on within you. What is your heart telling you? What are you feeling about this? And because of the everything changing, I mean, there is nothing that is foundationally the same as it has been, quote unquote, in the past. Everything is different. It may look the same or seemingly look the same on the outside, but is it really? The energies have shifted. The beliefs are changing. People are coming into more compassion. No, it doesn't seem like that when you listen to the news and you watch what's going on in the social media. But sometimes you have to rise above the crowd mentality. You have to rise above where your attention is being directed and focused and look for yourself to see what's really going on. And I say vote for who you feel is the right person, but energetically hold in your heart that the highest good for all humanity manifests. We're in such a state of confusion and chaos right now that it is very, very difficult to see the clear path to, and even with the energy swirling around us in the way that they are, it's very difficult to even feel it unless you go within. That's where your answers lie. And the surest way to get you out of your inner space and your inner truth and knowledge is to go into judgment. So please be focused on that. Be very, very conscious. Be very aware of where you are placing your energies. Being angry, being upset, being violent is not going to change any of it. But if those are the energies that you are feeling them, acknowledge them, allow them, and accept them and release them so that they can be cleared. Do it for yourself. Do it for your community, for your neighborhood, your city, your society, whatever. But constantly ask for the highest and greatest good to prevail under grace and perfect ways. And use that as your mantra if necessary to keep you focused on the positive, because that is absolutely not where the powers that be want our energies focused. And every time that you, in a sense, turn around, there is someone or something else pulling at you. In this time, we know it's all coming, but this is much more chaotic. And adding insult to injury is the fact that the energies are changing. Then nothing is supporting it in the way it did in the past. The status quo is being revealed, and what humanity wants, what the people want, is being revealed. And there's such a deep divide that we need to blend the energies for the united goal. The only way we're going to bridge this chasm is for all of us to ask for the highest good of all. Each of us believes the person that we are voting for is either the right one or the lesser of the two evils. Those are difficult choices. So surrender the illusion of power that you think you have, and always, always ask and open to receiving the highest good for all, and that you're part of the all, so that's going to include you. Okay, so give me a call, 773-897-6227. I wanted to review a lot of the things that we've been talking about, because I think right now being able to review this and connect the dots with the different things that are going on is important and will assist each of us in in applying these amazing tools that we have to use. So we talked in the beginning about the 7 basic decisions that we made, including the master decision. And the master decision is, while we're in our mother's womb, we are just so snug and comfy. All our needs are met. We're connected to all that is. We know what our mission is. We know everything. We are very comfortable and secure in our purpose, our worth, our value. We're happy. We're content. We're peaceful. It's just pure bliss. But then suddenly, it's time to start the journey of this incarnation on Earth. And we're pushed out. Sometimes we're forcibly pulled out into this very bright, loud, and scary place. At that moment, it's a complete and utter shock to the system. Suddenly we've got somebody turning us upside down, sticking their finger down our throat, or smacking us on our behind, and then wrapping us in this harsh blanket against our very tender, delicate skin. Things are being poked in our nose and our ears, and stuff's put in our eyes, and it's like, welcome to the world. And of course, we're screaming at the top of our lungs. It's during those first few minutes of our life that we make that master decision. And that master decision is to be or become non-disturbed. I mean, my God, why wouldn't we? We want to go back to that place that we were at. Excuse me. So from that moment on, we are really, our whole purpose from that experience is to be or become non-disturbed in whatever that means. And we haven't even learned what that means yet, but we know that the place that we were is the place that we want to be. So in addition to it being the birth of our master decision, it's also the birth of our belief that we are victims. And then within the first year of our lives, we then integrate 7 more decisions. And these decisions are the way that we think we can achieve the master decision of being or becoming non-disturbed. Now, this is a perfect example of the your job is what and God's job is how in play, because these 7 decisions become the how to the what of the master decisions. The decisions are made as an emotional response to meeting our needs, and before we're 5 years old, they are locked in, dictating our reactions to our life experiences and relationships as behavioral patterns from that point on. And you have to remember that once a decision is made or a belief is established, comes the rule of your action and attitudes from that moment on until it is recognized and changed. If you are not conscious of holding a belief, you are being controlled by it. We can gain our control of our beliefs through becoming aware of it. And a lot of times, it's just simply asking the question. Like you've heard me say over and over, you can never get an answer to a question you do not ask. So when a belief comes up, your job is to ask the question. Is this a false belief? Is this my truth? Another way of asking it is, does this belief control me or do I control it? So the master decision is about gaining comfort and pleasure in order to escape the pain and feeling bad. When that need is not met, it's going to definitely trigger the emotion of hate. I hate being this. I hate feeling this. I don't like this place. And then the 2 I want to have my own way now, and to think a thing makes it so for me, they're seeking to gain the attention and acceptance in order to avoid the rejection, and it triggers the emotion of anger when it's not met. So we learn, it's important for us to have our own way. Now, then we get closer when we get to have our own way, we get closer to our master decision of being and becoming non-disturbed. And same thing with to think a thing makes it so. Whatever we believe to be true is what we react to, what we respond to. Whether it's true or not is irrelevant. If we believe it to be true, it's true for us. And until we recognize it, that belief may not serve us any longer, it's going to continue to control you. So again, it's up to each of us to ask the question. Now, when you're dealing with it's important to please others and don't ask questions, just do and believe as you are told by your authorities, they are about seeking approval in order to escape the disapproval. And the emotions that get triggered are fear and resentment. And we know from past conversation that anything that the body feels from the solar plexus down, its first manifestation is fear, based on the question, or based on the belief, don't ask questions, just do and believe as you are told by the authorities. And believe me, the powers that be are very good at establishing authorities in our lives for us. And then I'm going to change so everyone will like me. And if only he, she, it, or they would change, I'd be okay. And it's important to be important. Those three beliefs are about feeling needed and important. And that as long as we're feeling needed and important, then we are escaping the feelings of being inferior or not good enough or less than or unwanted or unneeded. So remember that these 7 core beliefs that we carry, some of them are good, some of them are not so good. Wanting to have your own way is okay. But you need to know, is that controlling you or are you controlling it? If you're with someone else who wants to have their own way too, are you in control of that need enough to be able to say their need is greater than mine, so we're going to let you have your way this time? And it's important to please others is not such a good thing if it's not done with conscious awareness. And don't confuse kindness and acts of kindness with trying to please. That's different. And I think that a lot of times that's what happens, is that we get the different behaviors and actions confused. Being kind to somebody, even doing favors for them or being there for them, that's not about pleasing. Because when you are being kind to someone and exhibiting a friendship, that's genuine. That's from the heart. There's no strings attached. Please someone. There are strings attached because you're wanting something back. You're wanting them to approve and to accept of you. And there is a fine line, but it's a very obvious line whenever you look at it. So pay attention. The need to please others and just being kind are very, very different. Just like being selfish and greedy are. They're used the same, but boy, they are so different. So, pay attention to these kind of things and look and see what you are doing in your world. If you want to change, that's fine, but do it because that's what's right for you, because that's what makes you happy, because that's how to reflect who and express who you are now. But don't do it because you think somebody else is going to like you better, or they're going to involve you in their clique, or you're going to, for any other reason, it'll backfire on you every single time. And then the one that it's really it's important to be important is one of the biggest cons on us that there is, because we already are important. If we weren't already important and of worth and of value, we wouldn't even be born. We wouldn't be living this life. We wouldn't be having this experience or this conversation. But you're never going to find that outside of yourself unless you pay a price that is way, way too high for what you get back in return, especially when you can give it to yourself for nothing or for all of the right reasons. So the energies that are coming into the planet are really, really activating us. They're stirring things up, not only in the earth, but within ourselves. They're agitating us. They're making us more aware. And yet at the same time, they are also creating more compassion, more empathy, more forgiveness. And again, I realize it doesn't look like that from what the media is showing us, but you have to remember who is controlling the media. It doesn't serve the powers that be for us for them to create anything other than fear. That is the objective, is to create fear in every single way that they can possibly conceive of manifesting it. Your job is to recognize that and to take your power back. Okay, I'm supposed to feel fear here, but do I really? Is there really something here to be fearful about? What is yours and what isn't? Because the way that the information is imparted, it makes it feel like it's all yours, and it absolutely is not. You have to discern. Again, don't judge. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It is what is. And labeling it is only empowering the negative or the positive. Neutralize it. The fuel away from the situation. Take the charge of the emotion out of the picture and see what it looks like. That's where we can make a difference. And whenever something feels off or strange or not quite right for you, I strongly urge you to pay attention to what you are feeling. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to label it. You don't have to be able to define it or to express it to anyone else. What you have to do is be consciously aware of it and pay attention. Because if it's coming through your body, it's coming from a higher realm. It's coming from a different source. Remember, our bodies are used to communicate volumes of information and in numerous ways on many, many levels. Pay attention to what your body is feeling and ask the questions. You know, is this issue-based? Am I functioning off of a false belief? Are these ascension symptoms that I'm feeling? You know what? Understand what the energies are that are flowing through your body and how they are affecting your body, and it will make it so much easier for you to get through it, to flow through this experience. We're all going through it. And some are going to be hanging onto the side of the river and getting battered and beaten by all of the debris that's going along the the shoreline. And then there are going to be others that are going to be floating right down the middle of the stream. You know, you get to choose. But it's all about surrendering, letting go, claiming the highest good for all, and trusting that it is manifesting. Not that it will, but that it already is. And I really do believe that we're seeing that. You know, every once in a while, you know, the powers that be think that it would be really, really beneficial to them to inject a little bit of hope into the newscasts. So they've started over the past few years of putting in these really sweet stories about human kindness, about how we are helping and loving and guiding each other. And when you pick one little story out of in one little town in a state out of, you know, the United States, and use that as an example, you know that that's not the only one there is. You know, if you take that and manifest it out, okay, nobody's going to be doing the story on every single one of those experiences out there. But we have got to learn, and the sooner the better, that what we feed, we experience. If we feed the fear, we feed the dark, we feed the negativity, we feed the violence, then that's what we are going to experience. If we feed the humanity, we feed the love, we feed the kindness, the compassion, the healing, the empathy, then that's what we're going to start experiencing. Okay. To those of you who are just joining us, you're listening to Easy Knowing, and I'm Sherry Kennedy. I invite you to participate in the show by giving us a call at 773-897-6227. That's 773-897-6227. And it would really be nice to hear how you are experiencing your journey. Share the tools that have worked for you, or even the experiences you've had that validate the truths that we're talking about on the show. And of course, if calling doesn't work for you, I really invite you to visit my website. There's a section in the website where you can send me comments and emails and ask questions, or even present topics that you would like to see further expanded on. And there are also in the website, you can see the tools, check out my book, hear the comments of other people's journeys that will inspire you to pick up the phone and give us a call and share your journey too. And I would be honored if you could make a donation and support the teachings and all of the work that we're doing. So give us a call, 773-897-6227. I do look forward to hearing from you. So now I kind of wanted to shift the crystal a little bit, and I want to talk about something that may be seemingly unrelated, but it's absolutely connected. And this is about forgiveness. You know, what comes to your mind whenever you hear the word forgiveness? You know, all of the people that have wronged you and hurt you and made your life miserable, or done something that made you feel bad, the revenge of needing to forgive them because you hate them so bad for what they did and how they treated you. What does come to mind? Okay? Do you feel like that if you forgive somebody, then you have to be best friends with them again and invite them into your life? Well, if any of those feelings are familiar, then I want to shift the crystal for you. I want to give you a different way to look at it. Because it's just like with all of the other beliefs and the things that we've been talking about, as long as you're trying to go outside of yourself for anything, whether it's blame or judgment, giving other people your power, you're perpetuating the false belief that you're a victim. You are literally creating the energies that you keep experiencing. Forgiveness isn't about the other person. Forgiveness is about yourself. I guarantee you that the person that you are hating, the situation that you are hating, or that you're harboring resentments and angers and anger and violent thoughts against, could really care less. You are not affecting their world one iota by all of those energies and all of those feelings that you are holding within you. But you are killing yourself as a result of it. Because every time you think about that situation and that experience and how wronged you were and how badly they treated you or did this to you or blah, 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 all you were doing is dripping more acid into that wound. Okay? Doesn't affect their day. They don't even have a clue that they have that much power over you. And that's exactly what it is. They are controlling and manipulating you. And you haven't even got a clue that it's being done because you are the one who is doing it. Okay? You're giving your power away because of how you feel you were victimized. Well, none of us are a victim. Remember when we've talked about the soul agreements and the lessons that we have chosen to come into this life to learn and to teach, and the gifts that we brought in to assist us and to share? We are not victims. If the powers that be can convince us to believe otherwise, then they can control us. And we have seen over the eons that that's exactly what they've done. At what point do you say no? At what point do you say, this is my life. I get to live it my way? And all of these people that have supposedly wronged you, if you can scrape off the icing of the supposed experience and look at the value of the cake, the foundation of it, what did you get from that? I'm not asking you whether you liked it, whether it was whether it was something that you would want to do again, but what did you get from it? If nothing else, did you learn what not to do, who not to be? And that's what you say, well, yeah, but so what? Well, that's a pretty powerful lesson. That's a pretty important thing. If their treatment of you and you allowing them to treat you in those ways put you on a path that puts you where you are now, and you like where you are now, then that's another blessing. You have to look at what happened in these series of events. The best hindsight is always 20/20 because then we're out of the trees enough to see the forest. We can look back on any situation and experience and see how it benefited us or how we gave our power away to it to the point of it creating harm. We have free will and free choice. And we have spent all of our lives being told that we're not, that we're less than. We get to choose how we perceive our life experiences. And just because we're choosing to see the negative does not negate our right to choose. You've got to remember, Creator is not the one who chose disease and poverty and war and fear and anger and prejudice and racism and hatred and all of the things. We do through our judgments. But by the same token, doesn't it make sense that if we've created it, we can uncreate it by changing the belief that it was manifested through? Does to me. We have two worlds in which we can choose to live. The world of darkness, which is the illusions, the if, shoulds, coulds, and woulds, created by the judgments. Or we can live in the world of light, which is. It just is. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It's whatever you want it to, whatever you need it to be for your experience. It just is. You know, right now in Sedona, it's a beautiful sunshiny day with temperatures in the low 70s. It's beautiful. Now, whether I love it or hate it does not take away from the fact that it just is what it is. And whatever I am describing to you is through my filter, through my perception. And that's the way it is with everything. Just because somebody says something is true doesn't make it true. It only makes it true for them. If it resonates with what you believe, then it's your job to validate it, to resonate with it. But not just to take somebody else's word for it. That's one of the reasons why I am so strong and clear in my foundation is because when the information was presented to me 45 years ago, it resonated. A lot of it resonated in a lot of ways, and a lot of it didn't. But I had to prove it to me. I had to use it. I had to try it. But that was me. I'm going to challenge it every single time. Any new concept or idea, I'm going to challenge it, especially if it's not anything that I've ever been exposed to before. But I'm not going to dismiss it just because it's new and different. I took every one of the tools and the techniques that they shared, and I used them. And so the ones that worked, I kept using them and got really good at it, and learned the foundation of it. The other ones, when it doesn't work, let it go. And one of the things that I discovered to be most true is that all the information, there is some incredible truth and information out there in the world, but it's what you do with it in your own personal life that makes the difference. I could have taken all of that information and said, oh, that was a great seminar. I just loved it, and I loved the social interaction and the people I met, blah, blah, blah. But I never did anything with it. I just set it on the shelf. And then it became food for topic or food for conversation. when the topic of spiritual growth would come up. Then I could say, oh, yeah, I took this class, and I took that class, and I did this. Well, if the person that I was saying that to was anything like me, their next question would have been, what are you doing with it? Are you using it? Because if you don't use the information that you're being given, it's of no value to you. And you have to discern, where's the value? Are you going to give yourself permission to believe in yourself enough to say, yeah, I can do it different? How do we do this different? I know what's not working for me. I'm unhappy, I'm miserable, I'm sick. So, what do I want to do with this information? How do I want to change it? You know, pick one item, pick one thing, and start there. And as you get good at that, pick another thing. And pretty soon, before you know it, you will be a master. When I start a class, the first thing I tell everybody is this is the hardest, easy thing you'll ever do. Simple is so deep and wide, and yet on the surface, simple is negated. I've always said that one of the biggest challenges to my class is its simplicity, because people cannot believe it can be that simple and create that big of a shift. My whole world has been so messed up for so long. And you're telling me that this is all I have to do to change it? Can't be that easy. Pay too high a price. I've suffered too severely. So it gets negated. Yeah, that sounds good, but oh well. I'll try it next week. The one I love is when people say, oh, I just haven't had time to use it. Okay, really? So you have been sitting under a rock? You're not living your life? You're not experiencing anything? Because truly, this is not something that is going to be of any value to you unless you use it. And you're the only one who knows whether you are or not. But the more you use it, the more benefit you're going to get from it. The more benefits you get, the more ahas you're going to have, and it becomes a snowball effect. It is absolutely amazing what happens. So all of this is about the choices that you have. And the choice of forgiveness is the one that we're talking about right now. Choose to forgive yourself for all of the judgments you've held. Because everything that you are judging and holding non-forgiveness of someone else about is all about you. And it affects only you. They're spiritual beings having a human experience just as you are. They've come here to learn the lessons and to share their gifts and to experience whatever is necessary to evolve their souls just as you are. And yeah, some people are just downright mean. Some people are going to be with intent to create harm. But those are really few and far between. Just because those are the ones that we hear about on the news and in the media most of the time doesn't mean that they are large in numbers. They really aren't. So again, look at the people around you. Do they fit in that category? Most of the people that you deal with in your life are kind, loving, decent people, just doing the best they can to get through each day. We all are. And we're trying to make the best choices that we can make in a time whenever nothing is familiar, nothing is working the way it used to. It's like well, it's not like it is. Our foundation is crumbling. But the gift in it is that leap of faith, foundation is solid. And yeah, the old has got to fall away, whether it's macro or micro. The negativity, the violence, the hurt, the pain, the suffering that has been held in Gaia over these eons has to be released. She's vibrating and she's not taking it with her. And as she vibrates higher, it has to leave. It cannot exist in the energy. It cannot exist on the vibration that she's achieving. And as she achieves her higher vibration, so do each of us. And the same applies on the micro level. As we begin to vibrate higher, or as we continue vibrating higher, all of those things are no longer going to be able to sustain themselves. They will fall away. And if we insist on hanging on to them, we will not be able to exist in the higher vibrations. And again, that's a choice. That's not good or bad or right or wrong. If your soul doesn't need this experience to evolve, then you're not going to have it. And that's okay. But if it does, give yourself the best opportunity in the world to experience it with ease and grace, with joy and happiness. Focus on the positive. Focus on the good things that are happening around you. Pay attention to the subliminal conditioning and programming. Listen to what people are saying and really hear it. Don't just have it on the background and let it go into your subconscious unfiltered. Listen to the information that you're putting into your world. It's really, really important to be aware. And the more that you can forgive yourself, the less you're going to be affected by everything that's going on around you. Because as you forgive yourself, you have to release all of that energy. And when you're not carrying around the burden of all of that energy, you're not attracting the light. You know, it's like as you're walking along your path and you just continually forgive, it's like setting down this big old burden that you've been carrying. And they may be in 100 little bags strapped around your body, but each time you forgive, one will release. And as that one releases, all of the energy that was attracting is attracted to that, and it's not with you anymore. And it will be cleansed and purified and returned to Gaia, because that's what she will do with this energy that we release. She will transmute it. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself of everything and anything, even when you don't think you need to be forgiven, even if you don't think that you ever did anything to be forgiven for. Forgive yourself, because you did. You're just not aware of it yet. And when you forgive yourself, it will become aware. It will come to you. You will become aware of it. And it's just forgiveness and gratitude are kind of like, kindred spirits to me, because the more in gratitude you are, the more abundant you become. And the more that you forgive, the more love and compassion and empathy you open to receiving in your world. Because forgiveness is a lot of baggage, or not forgiving, holding on to the resentments and the judgments, a lot of baggage, and it gets pretty darn heavy. Start letting it go, because you're not going to be able to ascend or to raise your vibration if you're weighted down. It's just like taking off armor. Take it off one piece at a time and let it go. Take a deep breath. Feel how that feels different. And after you get enough of it off, after you have forgiven yourself enough times and release these burdens, all of a sudden you're going to get caught up in how good it feels and want to do it more. Let go of the guilt. Let go of the shame. Those are our emotions and that have been designed to keep you in fear, to keep you controlled and manipulated, to keep you from being who you are. There's nothing that you can do that cannot be forgiven. But until you forgive yourself first, there's no way that anyone else will be able to do that. They will hold the judgments against you that you've held against you, but they're against themselves as well. So we keep playing this vicious back and forth game. Forgive all of the things that need to be forgiven. Forgive yourself. And when you forgive yourself, you can forgive the others for their part in it. And you can release and bless them on their journey to continue getting what they need, just as you're going to go on yours to get what you need. This is all about our soul's evolution and has nothing to do with good or bad or right or wrong. It has to do with the experiences and how we are sharing and expressing those experiences. What are we learning? Which path did we take? Is the one we're on feel good? If it doesn't, then change path. If it does, then keep going. It's not good or bad or right or wrong, because the detour that you take is as valuable as the straight line you thought you needed to walk on. You know, that detour is going to give you the opportunity. Think of it as a pit stop in in an automobile race. They got to go in and check things out, or else something down the line is going to happen a lot worse. And then, of course, the gratitude is so important, because you must be in gratitude to receive. If you are in lack, you are creating a brick wall that nothing can get through, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that the energy you feed is what you're going to attract. And if you are always in lack and have nothing and can't afford it and can't go there and all of that, then that's what you're going to constantly experience. But if you are constantly flip that coin over and start finding the abundance in everything that you are experiencing, it's going to change everything. You start taking that wall down. Okay, I don't have $1 million in the bank. I don't even have $100 in the bank. But I got a roof over my head. I got food in my belly, and I'm warm, and I have clothes. Find the gratitude in the smallest, simplest things. Quit comparing yourself. Quit trying to keep up with the person next door or the one you went to school with. It doesn't matter. They're doing what they need to do for their soul's evolution. And if you did exactly the same thing, it might regress you eons. You don't know. And because you don't know, take the higher road. Go to the positive. Be good to you. Treat you with kindness. Experience and express the gratitude. Handing somebody a wild flower that you picked alongside of the road is a great expression of gratitude. The little things. It's always going to be the little things that you do for yourself and for others that are going to generate and shift the energy. The big things are in your face. You're going to be aware of it. And they will take care of themselves. So let the big things take care of themselves while you focus your energy and your attention on the little things, the little small kindnesses that you can do. Find a way to shift the energy from it escalating into negativity and to bring it into positive. Learn to laugh. Find the joy. Find the humor. And in today's world, that's kind of a big order, but we can do it. We can truly do it. Hold in your heart that the outcome is the highest good of all for anything and everything that you want to manifest in your life. Remember the what. What doesn't mean making it happen. What means creating the picture. Okay, create the picture of what you want to manifest in your life. Picture of the kind of presidency that you want. You don't have to draw a person. It's not about the person. It's about the energy. It's about the ethics. It's about all of those things. If you put that energy out there and hold that as your focus and as the vibration to reach, to meet, to resonate to, and everybody else joins it, then that's what's going to happen. I'm up for magic and miracles because right now we are in great need. All we have to do is open our eyes and see. Trust who you are. Trust what's going on. Trust your knowing, not your conditioning and programming. And when you are so obsessive about something, just ask yourself, is this mine or is this what I think I'm supposed to be doing? Because the energy supporting it will shift dramatically based on the answer that you give. You have to know your heart. You have to know what's going on within your own world. your own thoughts, feelings, and beliefs before any of it can be changed. Cannot change what you're not aware of. And denial and pretending that you're not seeing it or insisting that it's different than what it is, that's okay. Doesn't change what is. It just gives you many, many opportunities to continue to learn the lessons that you've put in your path for you to learn for your soul's evolution. Miracles happen every day, and they are abundant. We see it and know of it in our neighborhoods, in our friends, in our families. Communicate that when you're talking about what's going on in the world. Talk about the cute things that your kids do or your animal does. Share the joyful things. Share the things that resonate, that make your heart happy. Everybody in this world, especially in the United States, knows what's going on. Do we really need another person's description of how and what they're seeing? Find your own place and be in that place knowing that it is exactly what is right for you. Wow. It's almost time to say goodbye. I really have enjoyed being able to share all of the information, the tools, and the techniques that I have learned over my life and studied and know for a fact that they really do work in your everyday life if you will just use them. We do create the imbalances that we have in our lives, but again, if we create them, we can uncreate them. And to me, that's the greatest thing about learning to take responsibility for yourself. Yeah, it seems like a great big huge burden. Oh my God, I have to take responsibility for all the things I've done. How horrible is that? No, that's not true. How wonderful is that? Because if you've done things that you're not proud of, that you don't want to own it so you can change it, so you can shift it, so you can evolve as a result of that experience. When you take responsibility for who you are, what you've done, and what you believe, what you say, think, do, feel, blah, 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 it changes your life and it empowers you. You can never be a victim once you take responsibility because you will always be able to find the way back to your heart whenever you understand that. We cannot have a thought without the power to carry it out. Now think about that. With each thought is the ability to make it manifest. Because we don't know that doesn't negate it. What you are experiencing, what we collectively and individually, whatever are experiencing in this moment is exactly what we have asked for in the past moments. We get everything we ask for. We just don't realize that what we've been doing and the way that we've been experiencing and expressing is the asking. And it is. It's about the energy. We ask through the energy. So if you're bringing in a lot of negative energy in your world, a lot of sickness and unhappiness and misery, then you need to stop right now and change that. Shift the crystal. Find the belief. Find where you're feeling like a victim. Find where you're feeling less than. You have the power to do that. And this no outside situation or circumstance affects this. This is your innate choice. The quality of your life, your love, your happiness, and everything else depends entirely on how you have programmed your computer. And if there are glitches, if there's any part of it that isn't working, own it. Take responsibility for it so that you can fix it, so that you can change it, so that you can upgrade it. Whatever it is that you need to do, but know that you have the power and the ability to do that. And you are the only one who does. No one can do it for you. There is no such thing as a quick fix when it comes to your spiritual growth or to the ascension. You are going to have to go through it. And you are going to have to let go of the beliefs that keep you from being who you truly are. That's the way it works. And the more that you can quit resisting it, the faster and easier it's going to be. You're going to have fun with it. It's one of the most joyful things you can experience. That's why it's the hardest easy thing you can ever do, because it's hard wrapping your head around the fact that it can be so simple. But once you do, oh my God, you have more fun than you ever thought possible with something like that. Well, I see our time together is almost up. And I thank each of you for listening. It really is it's nice to know that we're all evolving and growing, and any way that we can help each other along the way is just a great joy. So until next week, follow your heart's song and paint the world with the colors of your soul. Bye-bye.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your move.